More than 100 Democrats in the Senate and House of Representatives, largely progressives, yeah, are calling on congressional leaders to take steps to prepare the United States for the next pandemic and mitigate racial disparities in U.S. healthcare. Senator Elizabeth Warren, Democrat of Massachusetts, and Representative Ro Khanna, Democrat of California, spearheaded a letter sent to the top Democrats and Republicans in the House and Senate on Thursday calling on them to lay the groundwork to prevent and mitigate future pandemics. In addition to passing a robust package to address the current crisis, we must take bold and comprehensive steps now to ensure the nation is better prepared for the next pandemic, the lawmakers wrote. The push from the left just a few days before the election between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden provides indication of the kind of pressure Biden could face to act swiftly if he is swept into power alongside a Democratic Senate. Some of the details in the letter mirror those in Biden's own plan, which notes that even as we respond to this crisis, we must prepare for the next one. A Warren aide didn't say whether Biden's campaign was in the loop on the letter, but noted that the policies it advocated for were consistent with the presidential contender's plans, as well as his ability to implement them. Okay, so in this letter, and they list the people it was sent to, McCarthy and the rest of the clowns. God, the congressional leaders are so awful. The letter calls on the leaders to take the next couple of steps, commit billions of dollars in funding to domestic health programs at the state, local, territorial, and tribal level, and replenish the strategic national stockpile. Ensure the White House collaborates with international health groups and boost the government's funding to international organizations such as the World Health Organization. Create 250,000 jobs responsible for executing key public health initiatives such as contact tracing and disease surveillance. Address racial disparities by ensuring everyone in America has access to high quality health care, as well as requiring companies developing or producing future pandemic therapeutics or vaccines with federal funding to make pricing reasonable. Halt environmental degradation, including wildfire trafficking and deforestation, which can contribute to the growth of pandemics. So listen, all of these steps are actually very good. But see, the reason Roe and the backstabber Warren and the rest of them get on my nerves is because they have these really decent ideas I can get behind, right? But there's such, what's a good way of saying it? There's almost a cowardly quality in those in Congress, the majority of them, when it comes to making there be consequences for their positions not being taken seriously. This letter was signed by 100 people, as they mentioned earlier in this article, and that number of 100 Democrats in the Senate and the House is enough to go to Schumer and Pelosi and say, listen, this virus and your response to it has been awful. These are the things we would like to have done. If you don't do them, we're not going to vote for you for another term as the leader of our delegation in our respective chamber. So, for example, the Senate Democrats would tell Schumer, we're ditching you for Durbin or whoever else. And the House Democrats would ditch Pelosi for, some other person. See, if they did that, it would make me believe they actually were upset at what's going on. Whereas now, they can write these letters and they can talk about all the great things that need to be done. But if you're not going to make your supposed leaders be influenced or pressured to act, it just comes across as window dressing and grandstanding. And that's really unfortunate because when you get such a large group of them to agree to something like this or to sign off on it, it means they do agree on the principles and opinions disclosed in the letter, which theoretically would mean that they would come together in condemning the way Congress has acted, especially those that are, at the top of the food chain with regard to congressional leadership. So again, the stuff in here is good. I just wish Roe and the rest of these people would actually say to Pelosi and Schumer, you do what we want, or your little tenure as leader is over. It would actually be a showing of seriousness and a need to act. People won't act unless they know there's a penalty for not doing what they're supposed to do.